Good morning. 4:44 has arrived. I've been waiting for it for a good while. The title that I finally wrote down this morning, or typed in, is "The Freedom Train is Rolling for the One People." I went to bed shortly after the Freedom Reigns program with Lisa Harrison and crew finished at 9 p.m. here in Florida, and I woke up about 4 hours later, though my feet did not hit the floor until a bit after 3 a.m. Listening to that program on Monday evenings has become my routine. Indicators of our collective freedom from the matrix of lies are shared each week, which I appreciate. Since there are many things going through my mind here this morning, I'm going to leave the blurb at that and just talk from my heart with whatever flows. I'll probably ramble. Not that rambling is the first time. I ramble, actually, I ramble almost every time. Yesterday was the first day in a long time that I actually did not do a video. I did two videos on Sunday, the one with Norma, and of course my own previous to that. And the one with Norma was the one that I aired yesterday. But I actually did not do a video yesterday. And it's been a long time since I've had a day go by without creating a video. So that was a new experience for me, as I said, for quite a while. It was also a very quiet day for me yesterday. Neither Norma nor my friend from Canada talked to me on the phone all day long. I had one phone call the entire day, and it was during the time when I was actually in the jacuzzi, and I didn't get up to answer it because I don't use, well, I have a wireless phone, but I hardly ever use it. It's in the guest room. And when I checked to see who it was when I came back out, I didn't recognize the number, but it was a telemarketer. So there were no important phone calls at all yesterday. Or when I say important phone calls, I mean calls that I wanted to actually talk to somebody. I did make a call to my friend Margie, but that was the only phone communication that I had, and that's a quiet day for me because oftentimes the phone rings off the hook throughout the day. But yesterday was just one of those quiet days, and I actually finished my work on the weekend events page in the community calendar. I finished it by around noon, so I had a really quiet afternoon. Um, And then when the program Freedom Reigns came on last night, I listened for 2 hours, and was really the first part where the fellow from Canada was talking about his being arrested for trespassing on his own property, on his own home. That was an interesting story, and he's looking forward to taking it to court. Now, for me personally, for Ron, I'm fed up with the whole court system. I mean, they ignore the law, they ignore truth. They're so set, for the most part, on protecting the lies of the banks and of the crooked financial structure of our world and the criminal elements in our government. They're so into protecting. It's like that's the national security, to protect the liars, to protect the psychopaths, to protect those that have enslaved humanity with a system of lies and money and an economic system that is absolutely unsustainable. The cracks are everywhere, even though the reports in the mainstream media are unemployment is dropping, and I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the stock market lately, but they were reporting stock market gains and everything. It's all manipulation and it's all lies. The whole thing, all of the news of the economy on the mainstream is lies. All of it. And the courts, I mean, they've ignored remedies for a long time. Every time people come up with a remedy, it looks like they've got to obey the law. They figure out a loophole to go around it and ignore the law. They figure out all sorts of rules so that they don't have to keep the law. And even in the federal rules of civil procedure, in the federal district courts, as I've said before, one of their rules is once the rules are established, the law shall have no effect. And that's right at the beginning of the statutes. So they have statutes that can override the actual law and make the rules more important than the law. And law, by law, I'm talking about common law. I'm talking about natural. I'm talking about the law of contracts, that a contract must have two signatures on it. From when I say two signatures, they can't be the husband and wife signing a mortgage contract or something like that. They have to be the lender and the borrower. But that's all fraud, because the lender is the person who is perceived in our system as the borrower, and the actual borrower is perceived as the lender. Everything in our culture, everything in the matrix of lies is inside out and upside down and ass backwards. Everything. Nothing is what we've been told it is. But the freedom train is rolling for the one people. And that's why I listen to Lisa and all those other wonderful people there on the Freedom Reigns and the Collective Imagination programs on Mondays and Tuesday nights. I listen to those because they give indications of things like the Swiss Indo and the King of Kings issuing orders to the UN. Now, I don't understand all of this stuff, folks. I don't understand the effect that the week of hearings last week at the Press Club in Washington, D.C. for the Disclosure Project and with Dr. Stephen Greer and the other Stephen, I can't remember his last name. But I don't know all of the effects, but the truth is getting out all over. Absolute truth is getting out, and that is a death knell for the New World Order of dominating control of humanity by an elite establishment of sick people, of insane men, mostly men. It's coming to an end, and the handwriting is on the wall. Mene, mene, the thing with Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, and the handwriting was on the wall, and Daniel interpreted it. You are weighed in the balances and found wanting. Well, indeed, the elite have been weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Their gig is up. The game is over. Now, it hasn't completely ended, because there are still people every day, I'm sure, being evicted from their homes unlawfully. I'm sure there are people being arrested unlawfully and spending time in jail unlawfully because the system does not obey their own laws. They are out of order. And the mainstream media keeps supporting the system and taking their marching orders from the system. So that's why I listen to Freedom Reigns and other programs on the internet that give you elements of truth. That at least they may not have all of the facts right, but they are indicating, if nothing else, they are indicating all of the mess that's going on in the highest places in our world, in the ivory towers of our culture, the establishment towers of control are coming down, and the languages are no longer scattered. We're all coming into one language, the language of the heart, the language of love, the language of our souls. We're coming into that more and more and more as this freedom train is rolling through the structures of humanity, through the edifices of our culture. The train is rolling, and it's rolling over all the people that are still trying to maintain the status quo and hold on to a system of corruption, a system of human slavery, a system of injustice, a system where health is challenged on every hand by the very people that want to control the society and dumb down the population, and even cull the population, reducing the population as best they can by invasive diseases introduced through food, through water, through the air, even through the very vibrations and frequencies that are surrounding us day in and day out. But despite all that they are doing, they cannot sustain their plans for a combat boot on every human face. They cannot sustain the 1984 vision of world domination and of a one world government that controls everything. We're going to have freedom, folks. This is what I sense this morning as I sit and go over the people that I pray for every day, as I sit in the meditation room and just get quiet and listen. And here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that love is winning. I'm hearing that no matter what it still appears like in the mainstream media, the world is going through major, major sweeping changes, and they are everywhere. They are everywhere, but they are not being brought together yet in the mainstream. They are not being brought together yet so that people all over are going to say, oh my God, I can't believe this. Well, we're going to be able to believe it because this is what's happening. This is what's happening in May of 2013. This is what's happening. And even though in my own personal life it was quiet yesterday, it was a time for introspection. It was a time to go inside and to listen to me, to listen to my heart, to once again invite, as I wish all of humanity would do, invite the angelic presence in our lives and in our world. Invite the extraterrestrials to use their technology to keep bombarding those that are trying to hold on to the old system with more light and more truth and more love. Keep the pressure up, because truth is pressure to those that tell lies, to those that want to maintain fraudulent practices. Truth is an absolute threat to their security, to their peace of mind. And their peace of mind, it's time their peace of mind is challenged as it's never been challenged before. It's time their peace of mind is crumbles down under the weight of the light of facts, of just plain facts, of the real law, the natural law that says what you do unto another, you will get back. The law of karma. And what they have been doing to humanity is atrocious. And many of them will come clean and be forgiven. Many of them will. Maybe all of them won't, but all of them are welcome to come home and let go of their psychopathy and their sociopathy. Let go of their sickness and their insanity and embrace the truth. Because embracing the truth liberates every soul that embraces it. And it doesn't matter what that soul has done. All can be forgiven. All can have the slate wiped clean. All of us can, as the freedom train rolls for the one people. And we are the one people. All of us are the one people. Whether we've played dark roles or light roles, whether we've been of the 1% or the 99%, whatever we've done, it can all be forgiven as we embrace the truth and learn to love one another and to live from the heart and to learn the language of the heart, which is the language of love. That's why it's such a lonely day when the two people that are giving me the most love in my life get silent on me for a day, and it makes me give myself that love. But I'll tell you, it really feels good when that love is coming from another human being or from other human beings that have flesh and blood and deal with all the issues that I deal with and that each of us deal with. When we love one another, we set the table, we set the stage for something much greater, much better. And that better is freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to do, freedom to express our truth individually and to follow our dreams individually and collectively, the dream of world peace being the greatest of all. For those that are the disturbers of the peace are the very ones that supposedly have been to keep the peace, but that's been a lie. The government and the police forces and the military have been used to disturb the peace, not to keep the peace, because they don't follow the law. But that's changing. That's changing, and the remedies that have been employed ultimately will win. They can't ignore it forever. This is where we are in May 2013. On what is today's date? The 7th of May. I get a massage later this morning. I'm looking forward to that. I don't get very many massages, but I'm going to get another one today. Thank you for listening to Ron Ramble. I love you, and I really do. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Facebook. As many of you know, I've reached the limit in Facebook with 5,000 friends. Yesterday, a number of people, probably maybe as much as 9 or 10 people dropped off of Facebook, making room for me to diminish the waiting list, which I think now is, I don't know, it's 29 maybe people waiting now because more people made friend requests yesterday. So while I added some from the bottom of the list, I also added more from the top of the list. I took them away from the bottom and more were added at the top. And I always add the friends. But anyway, I really wish that you would gravitate toward Ron Van Dyke Paradox Man 316 as that's my fan page. It has no limits. There's only a few hundred people, or whatever, 200 maybe something, maybe not even 300 yet. But I invite you to gravitate toward that page. I do post my videos there every day, and I'd like eventually to use that as my main Facebook page. And it has no limitation of friends. It has no limitations as to what you can post on that. I don't care. Let that be the main page and get away from what has been my Facebook page all along. But they're still going to exist side by side for a while. But eventually, I want to reduce the the Paradox Man 316 or the Ron Van Dyke only page and just do the fan page. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. And if you've befriended me twice or more with separate identities on Facebook, delete one of them. Go off of one of them. Make room for some of the people on the waiting list. That's much appreciated. And now I'm finished. Thank you and namaste. Oh, Lordy.